Hi, apologies for that temporary break in transmission. We've got another about 15 minutes to go. Let's see how it goes. My phone is really full. I've got to make time to make some space. And of course, the network is playing games. I'm experiencing the strangest things, but we know what that's about. Let's see, a couple more comments. Mumtaz Sophia Khan, decisions that are not aligned with their vision, such an abuse of their ambit of authority and powers. We need to somehow develop our own people's independent regulatory body. I agree with you. Where is the public participation? Where is the public representation on these bodies like SAPRA? I know nothing about it. You always find people pawn their moral compass when it comes to logistics. It's the generational corruption that lingers. Sadashini Nilambar. Sorry about that. The network went down there. My phone's also really full, but I see 48 of us are back already. So these are the comments from the previous live, and now we're in part 2, and there are a lot of comments here. So that's 433 comments, and I'm going to get into the second video comments now, so we keep up to date. So that's 45. I'm not seeing the, there we go. Is live now. Right, so we'll be taking some comments here as well. 86. Right, let's take some more information, right? So we've discussed SAPRA's presser today. We've discussed Sahari's one-page response with its 10 questions and update as to what we are still busy doing. We've discussed conflict of interest issues at these authorities and with manufacturers, etc. In terms of events, like I said, we did Business Day Live yesterday, followed by COPAC at 3 p.m. It was absolutely brilliant. Go to our YouTube account. Cameron Kundle is doing a great job getting our content up there. And get involved with our platform. So if you go to the banner on the Facebook page at the top, you will see not only the Facebook group that you're in, but you'll see the Minds account which Jared Birchall is running. We've got Twitter, we've got Instagram, and we've got YouTube. It's very important to follow and share content from there because not everybody has access to that kind of information. Copy it from there, take it to your WhatsApp, send it to people. We've got to get it out to the masses. We've got 125. I apologize for the break in transmission earlier. I've got to clearly use another network for the live videos. Okay, so what else is happening? The survey. We've got a survey out that we're doing as a combined collaborative project with App Devi Sunita Singh, and it asks you questions about your ivermectin treatment. It's anonymous, it's voluntary, and it's free. And what we intend to do that is share that information with those who apparently don't understand ivermectin, the authorities specifically, as well as with legal applications. So if we need to take that information to court, we will. Here's a survey. Here's the information we have on people that have successfully used ivermectin. So it's a people-driven survey. It's not us waiting for a top-down, for the top to tell us, here's a survey, you do it. It's us deciding we're going to run that survey. So that survey link went up today. Please share it. Go have a look. Go and share it on your WhatsApp and your Telegram and your everywhere so that people fill in the survey and give us that information as to you use ivermectin, what happened. I think this is about 5 questions really. So I'm going to have a look at that one. Thank you to App Devi for that one. And yes, I've already told you that I've started taking the ivermectin and it's helping me. I don't have COVID, but I do have a cough. And I took it last night and not even in an hour, far less than I'm supposed to, it helped. I took 0.1 mils, I took another 0.1 mil, I had a great sleep, I woke up without a cough, without that tightness. And of course I've got to do the dosage properly over the next 5 days and take it with the antihistamine non-drowsy allergics. Alright, what else do we want to talk about? Protest and legal action. Let's give you an update on that one. So our Legal Action Coalition had a meeting last night. So it's a combination of individuals, groups and organizations that are planning legal action. It is also including advocates, attorneys, and mediators, but not with an "we know more than you" kind of approach to everybody else, because that's not how we operate. This is a human rights campaign, and of course, we are supporting AfriForum's application. It's a very strong application. We know that 1 in 3 applicants had passed away, waiting for this application to get to court. which is heartbreaking. This person pretty much sacrificed their lives waiting for access to ivermectin. It's horrendous, you know. So we'll wait to see where the application goes. It is set down for the 2nd of February, which is next week. And then we'll decide from there. NFP's also sent another letter of saying that they're planning to go to court. ACDP has said the same thing. I don't know if it's tomorrow that they're in court as well. And so we're watching these developments very carefully. One, because we don't want to duplicate applications because you waste time, energy, and money, and we don't want to do that. It's a tough time for everyone economically, so we've got to be responsible. But having said that, it may take more than one application to get what it is that we want. And secondly, there are broader demands that we have beyond ivermectin. For example, we want a commission of inquiry into SAPRA. So those applications will come. A class action will also arrive on behalf of everyone who has died, has developed long COVID, has lost their job, has lost their business. So there's lots of legal work ahead of us. I know sometimes people feel, okay, what's happening? What are you guys busy with? Realistically, we're 25 days old. And I think I know we've accomplished amazing things with everyone pitching in together and doing both on the ground and online campaigning. So that's where we are in terms of legal. We had a robust discussion last night, and we also discussed complaints to the South African Human Rights Commission, which you've been sending. Advocate Kemi Bihari has also submitted a complaint to them and has had a response, which says that they are going to be, the SAHRC, that is, the South African Human Rights Commission, is going to look at the ivermectin issue on at their national office basis, instead of their provincial office, which I think is real progress. Let's look at more comments here. I think most people are don't realize that we're on a new live. So if you could just share this video, everyone, so they know that we're still continuing with this live video, that would be great. In terms of protest, we have a meeting tomorrow with our Civil Society Action Coalition, and we are mobilizing towards on-the-ground protests in February. So it's very important for the provinces to get organized. It's incredibly important for groups and organizations to find that solidarity and collaborate with each other. It's not a time to work in silos and in compartments. We got to put it all aside. There's no ego. There's no my territory, your territory. You know, it's not about that. We have to speak in the we as opposed to the I. That's what Ubuntu is all about, and that's why SAPRA is feeling the pressure. SAPRA and their handlers are feeling the pressure. It's because of this remarkable solidarity campaign in society. Paul has said, excellent, no time to use. SAPRA will try all kinds of delay tactics. Absolutely, very well aware of that, Paul, and we're not going to allow that to happen. All right, I've been through all of the points that I wanted to raise. Remember to do the protest, guys. We need to see those protests, and your letters as well to the president that Joe Grant is currently driving. Write your letters, open letters to the president. There is a template that he's got on the group, but you can also write your own letters, and I think you would write some really great letters, and so we need to do that. What else do we want to talk about? What do you want to talk about? What are your thoughts? I've gone through everything that I had written out, and I want to hear from you now. How are you doing? How's your family? How are you dealing with the stress? How long do you think it's going to take before we get what it is that we want? No blockades and red tape. Informed consent, physician and patient, hospitals, clinics, community centers. How long do you think, what's it going to take to get to that level? What is it going to take? Are you willing to go to the streets? I know most of you have signed the petition, right? We're almost at 50,000, so keep going. I know you'll do the poster protest. I know that we will continue with campaigning on the ground and online. But how many people will join us in a protest on the ground? Will you come to the ground in a protest in February with your posters, with your masks? Will you come? Whether we picket outside a particular building or we march to a particular building. Right now we're talking about KZN, the Western Cape and Gauteng in particular, because these are the bigger sort of cities or areas, right? So Johannesburg, Durban, and Cape Town. But of course, we can expand that. It's just going to take a lot of work from us to make that happen. Elise Kruger, I foresee a Nuremberg type trial in the aftermath of this fiasco. Absolutely. Absolutely. Human experimentation goes against the Nuremberg Code. So I'm glad that people also know that. Fatima Karim, it's time to make history. Believe in ivermectin. Prudence Alpha says, ivermectin help for the after effects of COVID too. Well, I don't know. Has anybody taken it for long haul COVID? Where you've continued treatment with ivermectin, and what has it done for you? You could let us know. Sumaya Voigt, with you every step of the way. Thank you, Sumaya. Started my ivermectin today. No COVID symptoms, but rather safe than sorry. Thank you for creating awareness. That's it. Sandy Ratnam Pillay, fantastic work. We have to try everything possible to save lives. It is impossible to update you on everything that our team of coordinators and volunteers and admins are doing behind the scenes. We try, you know, but there's a lot, there's so much going on. There's so much of information as well. Please join the Telegram groups, really important. We're not going to do WhatsApp issues because of issues of safety and surveillance. So please join Telegram and get involved. You get all the information there. Sometimes you get information there that you might not get on the Facebook group, and some lovely interaction as well. Let's see, a couple more comments here on the new live video. Hussein Sheikh, yes, I will be there. Yes, yes. Look forward to seeing you on the ground. If you haven't been to a picket or a protest, my fellow South Africans and my fellow Africans, now is the time to do it. Now is the time to do it. You better get going with making your posters. You can use them for your photographs as well as for protesting on the ground. Couple more comments here. Yes, I will be there with my family, says Gerard Terblanche. Just stand together once we all do this, government will cock themselves, basically, is what he says. Share this video, everybody. Make sure people know that we're continuing with part 2 of tonight's live update. Lance Hilliard Lomas, where do we find the Telegram link? Good question, Lance. If you go to the group description of the Facebook group, you will find the Telegram link as well as the details of all of our other platforms. It's a national link that's there. And once you get into the national group, you can filter into the provincial groups as well. It should not be an issue from the narratives. It works incredibly fast, so there's no need for long-term use. I know people that do maintenance doses once a month afterwards. I certainly think it can't harm you to not have parasites in your body. All right, let's see. That's all of the comments that I can get there. 152 people back. That's fantastic. Thank you for joining us in part 2. Are you going to join us on the ground? That's the question we're asking right now at 8:30. Are you joining us on the ground when we protest? Will you be there in Durban, in Johannesburg, in Cape Town? Will you be there with your posters and your masks for ivermectin, for the people's medicine, for the right to be heard, for the right to health? Will you be there? Will you be there? Sanjay Singh, looking at the future, what will be addressed to never again allow this kind of thing from happening? How do we humble our government and remind them that they serve at our behest? How do we reinforce and get global buy-in to brown people and poor country inputs to break this US-UK monopoly? Lorraine van Skalkweg, yes, I'll be there. I mean, it's such a good point that you raised there, Sanjay, because even in terms of the research, they're not paying attention to countries that are not the US and the UK. Even with this Oxford trial that it's apparently going to trial ivermectin, we're only paying attention because it's Oxford? Really? What kind of Africans are we that, first of all, we didn't know about ivermectin last year? The authorities knew nothing about it. Then they didn't run trials on it last year. Then they don't want to take non-US and UK authorities and research seriously. I mean, I find it very difficult to understand this mental slavery that we're actually in. It doesn't make any sense. Desni Naika, will SAPRA be responsible for 40,000 plus deaths? You know, today I thought after this presser that people are not dying from COVID. They're dying because they don't have access to ivermectin. And no, we're not saying it's the only tool in the medicine chest. We know there's doxycycline. We know that there is zinc. We know you've got to take vitamin C and D. And I'm talking from my own research, as well as intense attention to the work of the FLCCC, especially Professor Paul Marrick, who, by the way, studied at the University of Witwatersrand. Amazing, amazing work. Where in Joburg? The details are going to be worked out, Khatija. So those will be shared very shortly. Zama Newswa, I will be there in Durban. Thank you, my sister. Mageshan Governor, yes, I'll be there. Vinesh saying, it's not just the prohibition of ivermectin, it's government's audacity to dictate to us on how we choose to heal ourselves. So you can imagine what our traditional health practitioners have been going through all this while, where they know that the medicines work. The medicines they use to treat people like Umhlonyane and Lengana, etc. work. But government blocks them all this while. So may I avoid definitely joining in Cape Town. Vanessa Geswint, yes. Andre van Bullion, with all of the positive evidence, SAPRA can approve it immediately. It seems that SAPRA don't know how to do market research. What is the real agenda? I mean, it's shocking. I don't even know why I'm shocked anymore. Penny Harvey, could SAPRA be trying to suppress the black market supply by controlling access? Yeah, of course they say that. But surely if you make an arbitrary and bureaucratic and irrational decision of criminalizing it, what else do you expect to happen? You know what's going to happen. You can't be in a regulatory authority and not know what's going to happen. Daniel Pillay, I'll be there in Durban. BBZ Bites, post some slogans that people can use on their posters, and we can roll these out, making it easier for people to protest online. I think you guys should suggest the protest slogans. I mean, you have the hashtags, IVM4SA, Right to Health in South Africa, 3 hashtags, but what's your message? Put that on your posters. And, you know, many years of making posters later. Let me just, I don't know if I could grab mine very quickly, but you would have seen that. Give me one sec. So, you would have seen it in the photograph that I did earlier, yesterday. And I know it's upside down, isn't it? But it's we demand ivermectin, save lives and jobs, stand with frontline workers, join Sahari, sign the petition, and the 3 hashtags. So it doesn't even need to have, this is basically 1, 2, 3, 4 messages and then the hashtags. You could just have one message. You could say, I demand ivermectin because my loved one died. They died because they didn't have ivermectin. I demand ivermectin because I lost my job. I demand ivermectin because I lost my business. I demand ivermectin because I'm tired of the mental stress. We demand ivermectin because it's our right to health. You know, now one of my favorites, the power of the people is stronger than people in power. What are these slogans that you're going to put on your posters? Lorraine van Skalkwyk, my body, my choice. And Jamara Khan, ivermectin is only the start. This is the start of taking back our power in so many ways. So proud of you, Anjum. Thank you very much. Elizabeth Kristen Diaz Urel, know your rights, save ivermectin. Terusha governed the right to life. The right to life. Sharon Lachman will be there in Durban. Are you going to be there? Are you going to be there? Tash David, I'll be there in Richards Bay. Let me know. We're going to need more organizers if we're going to extend it beyond these 3 centers. So we're going to need people in each province, in each city, and in each municipality. So those are the 2 questions we're asking before we start rounding up this live. Are you going to be there at the protest in February, and what message are you going to put on your poster? I'm here to speak for those who can't. We demand ivermectin. Because there are those who can't, they've left us, they've gone, right? The people who are dying right now because they don't have access to ivermectin. Who's going to speak for them? Who's going to speak for them? SAPRA, message, SAPRA, hear our voice. SAPRA, respect the voice of the people. Such an important message. No conflict of interest at health authority bodies. I mean, that's an important one, isn't it? No conflict of interest. Mohammed Mir, can you kindly explain which manufacturer's product will be made legal should SAPRA clear doctors to use it? How does it work? We don't have that kind of information. Firstly, we want to know which manufacturers are registered with SAPRA, because we need to scrutinize that list and see that it is a list that aligns with our values. It can't be anyone that funds political party campaigns or has been tainted with corruption, obviously, right? I mean, that's not anything major that we're demanding, is it? But we wait for those guidelines. We're not just waiting, we're actively engaging before we even receive those guidelines. Hopefully that they will engage with the public and engage with Sahari in particular on those guidelines. Otherwise, without public participation, this is not a democracy. What kind of a democracy is it when you don't have public participation? The right to health in a pandemic. Here's ivermectin. Here's all of us campaigning. They have to have public participation. Otherwise, please don't call it a democracy. Santa Kun, we demand ivermectin to be handed out to all South Africans, not to be sold on the black market, our right to live. Norma Simon has posted a YouTube link. Amsha Nayo, we the frontline workers are tired of losing our colleagues. Oh, Amsha, I hear you. I hosted a panel with the nurses and doctors, and just to hear their stories, so painful, so painful. Tash Deva, absolutely no conflict of interest is perfect. Solly Raja, I've got 4,000 South African flags to give everyone for free. That's amazing, Solly. Where are you? Thank you so much. That would be absolutely brilliant. Let's see. SAPRA can't raise the dead, but they can stop the deaths. Well, it's us that's stopping the deaths, aren't we, with our campaigning? Thank you, Ramona. It's very kind of you. Shivani Gosai, we were meant to rescue each other. We should never have been put into this position. I mean, we went into lockdown in March. In March is when the research on ivermectin began. At least by April, a South African regulatory body should have realized, but hang on, there's something going on here. Let's pay attention to it. Let's do the research. Let's start a clinical trial. But no. We're too busy doing I don't even know what. Mike Governor, they should be held responsible for all the deaths, but the doctor could have saved their life if they were allowed to use ivermectin. Michelle Britt now for the poster, SAPRA must fall, we demand ivermectin. That's pretty effective. Fatima Karim, is it safe for health workers to take the new vaccine with or without ivermectin? That's a whole other topic, the vaccine, the V word that we're not allowed to talk about. I tell you that healthcare workers are not happy with being forced. They're being forced to take vaccines. They're not allowed to ask questions. They're being told they'll lose their jobs, and we've been told this if they refuse the vaccine. Talk to me about democracy. Talk to me about the right to health and the right to choose. A couple more comments. Vinesh Singh, I'll join the protest in Pretoria. Government's not doing much. Why prevent us from helping ourselves? Elizabeth Kristen Dees, Urel, sorry I can't attend, I'm in Australia. Hello Australia, how are you doing? Are you using ivermectin in Australia, Elizabeth? Elise Kruger, I demand ivermectin because we're all khatful in capital letters. Yes. Naveen Lee Mudli, thank you and your team for fighting for the rights of our people. It seems there's a lot behind this ban that government is not telling us. Some people say it's not a ban. Why are you being so extreme? Of course it's a ban. If doctors are being criminalized and shoved against walls and hospitals are being raided and we're being treated, of course it's a ban. Zelda Klutzer, thank you Zelda for being our voice as well. Prabhashni Singh, thank you for being our voice. Praveshani, we are all the voice. We are all the voice, really. We wouldn't have got here had we not stood united. But we need to continue with our commitment. What else are you putting on your posters? I'm going to start saying goodbye now. It's 8:40, so we've just gone over an hour. And just to recap, we did our unpacking of the Sahari SAPRA announcement. Sahari's one-page statement, response and letter. We've discussed conflict of interest issues and the restructure of SAPRA. Mohammed Mir, what are your thoughts on SAPRA's latest statement regarding ivermectin usage? Can you explain to us? We've done that, Mohammed. You're going to have to go back and watch the first video earlier on, as well as the second one. Santa Kun, we must take back our power. Our lives do matter. Sanjay Singh, the DOH currently has a live Zoom program on the advantages of vaccines. Of course they do. Of course they do. Hajra Valley, it is shocking the silence in ivermectin in the UK. The only conversation being promoted is all things V, but with regards to treatment of COVID, nothing. It's criminal. So proud of fellow South Africans. I believe the UK has rolled out ivermectin to the healthcare workers. I did read something about that. Saziso Glamini, interesting topic. Can you enlighten me about ivermectin? How does it work? I am from KZN, South Africa. Saziso, watch this video and the one before this. Look at the content on the Sahari page and also go to www.flccc.net for more information about ivermectin and our campaign. Certainly we need to get flyers out there. We need to have a sticker campaign. We need to translate from English into other languages, really important. So we're going to need, you know, sponsors and contributors. Lorraine, remember to mention SAFM interview tomorrow at 9:20. Thank you, Lorraine. So I'll be doing an interview tomorrow at 9:20 to 9:30 a.m. on SAFM. That you can, if you're not in that area, you can pick it up on the internet and probably on their page as well. And it's based on our one-page statement that we released in response to SAPRA today. So do tune in to SAFM 9:20 to 9:30. Thank you to the team at SAFM for conversations that matter. When are they going to announce the guidelines, Magesh? No idea. They said, what did they say? A little while, a couple of days. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. Geraldine, Melinda, Moody, power in unity. Thank you for your voice in ivermectin. Absolutely. The power of the people is stronger than people in power. BBZ bites. When do you rest? Take it easy, sis. Yeah. It's a thing. I know. People that are very concerned are asking me to have more rest. And I've got a 6 o'clock with the Move 1 Million. Thank you, Sanjay, for that reminder. So yes, tomorrow morning 9:20 to 9:30 on SAFM with Kathy, and 6 p.m. on the Move 1 Million page. That's tomorrow. And then we've got the Civil Society Action Coalition meeting. So there's a lot that's happening. Fatima Karim will join the protest. Healthcare workers need to feel safe. If healthcare workers are scared to treat our loved ones, what's going to happen? Can't blame them for being scared, but what's going to happen? Thank you, Margaret. Thank you, Shivani. And on that note, we're going to say good night. Keep your eye on our developments. Get active. Go sign the petition, share the petition, make your poster, share photographs on it, create your posters for the protest. Get the word out. There's so much that we can do. So much we can do. But thank you, everyone, for your commitment to the Sahari campaign. And just remember, Mehtab Muhammad Bula, salute to you, my hero. Thank you very much, Lindsay. The power of the people is stronger than people in power. Until our next update, take care, be safe, stay healthy, stay active, and lots of love and freedom to you. Good night.